Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
You're dialed set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here, broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. There's a link to your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. If you'd like to call us, Dr. Shealy's with us, 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Dr. Shealy, are you blessed?
Good morning.
Can you imagine waking up and going to work with a bunch of grumpy people? I can't imagine how awful that would be.
Would not go.
Yeah. I remember, Dr. Shealy, I remember when the boss would say, "Okay, Vinny, you're in charge." You know, he would be off for the day, and he'd say, "You're in charge tomorrow, and you can do whatever you want, but don't fire Bob." and you know something, and I guess that had to do with the equivalent of, if you don't think someone's doing his job, and you don't think someone's a team player, and not happy and grumpy, and, you might want to fire them. So, I guess maybe it's a good thing I didn't have pink slips in my pocket, because I would dispense them wherever I went. I would dispense them in stores, grumpy people who are supposed to be working for the customers, who, are annoyed at the customers. They're grumpy people everywhere. And it must be awful to have that outlook on life. I guess that's what I'm saying. And I'm glad that I don't have that outlook, and I'm glad that the people that I hang out with don't have a sour outlook.
You're right on, as usual.
Let me ask you, Dr. Shealy, I was thinking about people that get banged up. And, it's a great way to have your children get banged up, and that would be to play high school sports. Specifically football, right? And maybe wrestling, maybe soccer, to name a few. And so what do you think about brain injuries with high school sports and the long-term effects of being banged up, while we're still growing, Dr. Shealy, even middle school?
Well, interestingly, my father, who was a great football fan, never missed a home team, would not let me play football because he didn't want me to hurt my brain or my spinal cord. And, of course, by the time I got through medical school and neurosurgical training, I didn't want my kids to play football for the same reason. No, I think it's a horrible sport. I think it should be banned. It's one of the worst things in the world for your brain.
Mm-hmm. So are we saying to those parents and grandparents who are paying attention in class today that, it's fun to watch games, but those guys out there on the field can get really hurt and have long-term damage in their, maybe in their memory, in their ability to concentrate, in their ability to even hold down a job later on as a result of, playing these sports? Is that what we're saying, Dr. Shealy?
That is exactly what we're saying. And Vince, I had two situations in my own clinic for, teenagers who actually had a small crack, fortunately, just a break in the bone, in the cervical spine, and both of their parents were horrified and objected to my saying they should never be allowed on the football field again. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow. So they were annoyed with you for giving them advice to protect their child?
That in addition to those people who are sour, there are those who's stupid.
Dr. Shealy, then, so here's the question. Do you remember in your practice of so many years since the 1960s, do you remember a lot of people not taking your common sense advice and end up being hurt as a result of that? Is this something that you...
No question about it. I mean, Vince, I can tell you, let's look at the fact that I've worked with 40,000 patients in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I would say conservatively that 15,000, maybe as many as 18,000 or more smoked. And I would say a huge majority of them would not take my advice to quit smoking.
Wow. So I can just see the coach saying, all right, look, number 18 over there, I want you to run at him as fast as you can. Throw your body right as hard as you can. Hit him in the knees. Take him down as hard as you can, and that'll be good. and then the parents cheering this on. The parents watching from the bleachers, watching from the sidelines, cheering this on.
Yeah. Kill him.
Watching their... Well, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that from the stands. Kill him. Our daughter was actually all of our children were involved in karate, and they attended like the state championship and the regionals and the nationals. And when they were younger, there was no hitting to the head, absolutely none. And they wore helmets, they're spongy helmets, and I remember running right out into the ring from the bleacher right out into the ring to stop a fight where this inner city thug punched our daughter right in the head. Oh. And the judges are like mad at me for stopping the fight. I mean, it was you
should have hit them too.
Well, it was an illegal move. It was an illegal move. And so my daughter was stunned. It was like the match just started, and she was a black belt, and so she was punched in the head, and our daughter could really kick high. And I said to her, are you okay? And finally she was, and she was stunned. And I said, now, this is not like what you'd expect your dad to say. I want you to kick her right in the face, right in the head. And so she did. And the point of that was you think you can get away with this and say, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to, to hit her in the head. So, and our daughter took second place in that because she kicked her in the head after our daughter was punched in the head. So that was okay with me. It's just a game. But the point was some people can get hurt, and we decided that, after learning how to fight, after having all of our children learn how to fight and defend themselves, we certainly didn't want them to get more banged up. And I know your medical partner, Dr. Sergey Sorin, is a mixed martial arts competitor, and he's been banged up, hasn't he?
Oh, yes. Much as I adore Sergey, I do question habits like that. Mm-hmm. I have to say, I don't think battling martial arts is a healthy sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dr. Shealy, we've got Greg in California. Greg, welcome.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I have a question, or some questions for both of you, actually, but Dr. Shealy first.
Okay.
I'm at the end of my rope dealing with the alliopaths known as doctors. And
I'm sorry. That's a wonderful way to put it.
well, at least you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just been recommended to a holistic doctor. And they've had me on Relafin, Neurontin, and a whole series of painkillers, and I just can't take the toxic poison anymore they're trying to give me. Yep. And I was wondering if you had any suggestions for...
Now, okay, tell me, where is the pain? What part of your body?
I got spinal stenosis and degenerative disc disease, which I think everybody has.
How old are you?
54.
Wow, you're awfully young for that kind of problem.
Well, it's ironic that you were talking about playing football and suffering lifelong injuries, because that's probably got part to do with it, because, I played that stupid sport.
Okay.
Fortunately, I didn't have smart people like you two around me. And then I fell down in my garage, and I got irreparable rotator cuff tears in my right shoulder that they can't repair. And they're telling me they want to stick a prosthetic shoulder blade in me.
My God.
I'm like, no way. And they just keep pushing all this stuff I don't want.
Well, to be quite honest, the best possible treatment is pulsed electromagnetic field therapy.
Okay.
PEMF. Now, interestingly, I have been working with PEMF for almost 6 years now, and I have developed my own model of it. There are dozens of models available, and for most pain, I would definitely always start with PEMF. It's exquisitely safe. If it works, and there are people who, if your holistic physician does not offer PEMF, I've found one who does.
Okay, I haven't seen him yet, so I don't know what he offers.
Right, but find out. I would even find out before you go.
Okay.
Greg, do you want to hold through the break?
We'll be back.
Yes, I would like to.
Do you want to hold through the break?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay. We'll be right back with Dr. Shealy, Greg in California. I'm Vince Finelli. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Will the government protect your family from Iran and North Korea's newest weapon, EMP? We buy guns to protect ourselves, home, health, and car insurance for accidents. Maybe you also have food storage. But how would you keep your refrigerator running in a long-term EMP blackout? Using tested military designs, the Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator protects and powers your critical appliances for years without burying items underground or wrapping them in aluminum foil. Unlike other preps, Solarc is used every day to help offset your electric bill automatically. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to learn how easily expandable the system is. Solarc is the most affordable and powerful solution on the market. The whole system even fits in the back of a pickup or SUV and can install in less than an hour. See for yourself why Solarc beats other off-grid systems at PortableSolarLLC.com. Don't wait for the government. Go to PortableSolarLLC.com to learn why Solarc is energy insurance for your family.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-952-2797.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto! Your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-952-2797. That's 1-800-952-2797.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and Greg in California had some questions, and Dr. Shealy's talked about pulse electromagnetic frequencies. Greg, please continue with your questions for Dr. Shealy.
Is the pulse electromagnetic frequency, is that like the little shocking device they put on your muscles?
Oh, heavens no.
Okay.
It's a very gentle device. In fact, I'm sitting here at my desk with one around my neck. I use it for 2 to 4 hours every day.
Okay.
Well, let's see.
Can you make it yourself?
I'm sorry?
Can you make one yourself?
Well,
I'm a handy fella.
actually, a mutual friend of Vincent Luke Cast, is a wonderful engineer. And a year and a half ago, he actually brought me one he had designed, and then he modified it according to what I wanted, which I call it the chakra suite, because basically we put into it the frequencies of the 7 chakras. And I'm extremely excited about it because it is great for pain relief. It has all kinds of other benefits. And Vince, I haven't told you this yet because last weekend I had the sudden strong suspicion that it will be good for depression. Fortunately, I have never suffered from depression, but we are now testing it to see whether it increases your serotonin. And by next Monday, I expect to have our first results back on that, because if it increases serotonin, as I strongly intuitively believe, wow, it'll be good for depression.
There's so many people who are depressed.
I know, and this would be the simplest way in the world to treat it.
And one of the things that I think causes depression is the forecast for a happy life, and the American dream.
Well, you're talking about news in general.
Well, I'm talking about news in general, and I'm talking about a young person graduating high school, realizing that it's very difficult to live the American dream. It's very difficult to fight the system. The bureaucracy is oppressive and overwhelming. Taxes are high, and it's hard to get ahead. Families are the children are living with the parents. The grandparents are living with the parents, and they're all moving in together because they can't afford it. They're losing their cars, their houses. They can hardly afford food. They're on lots of medicines. And the outlook, if you look at, hey, it's going to be a great life. For a lot of people, they've come to the conclusion that it's going to be very difficult for them. And they look at the political system and the lies and the two-tiered system where we have the haves that really have a lot, and then there's the rest of us who are, struggling. I can understand why depression is out there, and then they're out there fighting at the job that they're barely holding on to because the company is just about going out of business. The sales are down, and they're looking around saying, I hope Friday I don't get laid off because, last Friday we had a layoff, and the Friday before we had a layoff, and the Friday before we had a layoff, and I hope it's not my turn on Friday. And, it's tough for them. It really is, Dr. Shealy and Greg.
No, I agree. Let's face it, the world is in total chaos. But, Greg, if you can't find a doctor there, a holistic doctor who uses PIMP, drop me a note, email, and let's discuss it.
Okay. I'll do that.
And that would be norm@normshealy.com. Norm@normshealy.com. SHEALY.com.
Okay, yeah, and I've quit taking all the medicine they give me because every 3 weeks I'd get the junky flu, and I'm just...
Well, don't stop it suddenly, Greg. You do need to be weaned slowly.
Well, I've already been off it for about a month and a half.
Oh, wow, good. Okay, then you are really an excellent candidate for PIMP.
I've got that thing called willpower.
Good on you. What's your birthday?
3462.
Good old Pisces. Go for it, Greg.
Met says I'm intense. Yeah, I'm the fellow that called you about 6 months ago and told you I want to stay home and die in peace. I'm a 35-year hospital engineer.
Right.
And, because I know for a fact that the allopaths and their leadership have a problem with things like being honest and telling the truth.
Yes.
Greg, have you seen cover-ups in hospitals?
I participated in them. I was in a hazardous waste scandal back in the 80s.
Greg, can you hold through and tell us?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. You were involved in a hazardous waste scandal in the 1980s. Very interesting. Greg is going to tell us about it when we come back.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat rated armor up to level 4 and now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. And Greg in California, you were going to share with us your thoughts about this cover-up of a hospital waste scandal.
Oh, well, yeah, it was back in the 80s, and I believe it started on the West Coast when there was a story about people dumping medical waste out in the ocean on barges or taking barges of medical waste out. It mushroomed across the country, and we lost the person or the vendor that was taking hazardous waste. So some genius came up with a great idea that they're going to weld up this steel box on the back of a 66 short bed Chevy pickup truck with two compartments, one for hazardous waste and one for just regular old hospital waste, which isn't hazardous, right? But so we start hauling this thing.
Good.
We start hauling this creation across town over public roads to another hospital that this group owned, where they had an incinerator going in the middle of a neighborhood. And so we did that for about a year, I don't know, a while. And then my coworker got in trouble. He got kind of caught up in the whole drinking and driving thing. So he lost his job. They fired him. He went out and got a lawyer. And the lawyer found out about this waste thing going on with this pickup truck, because we had no way to clean this thing. You still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about this hospital waste because I remember stories making the news about barges dumping syringes into the ocean right off the Atlantic coast, just outside of New York City. New Jersey, I think, was involved.
That was it. So their method to clean this thing was they gave us a bottle of disinfectant. Yeah, just open the top and throw a little bit in there, and then wash out the truck. And they had a drain plug on it. Well, we were draining it over the water softening vats of the hospital where the incinerator was. So we couldn't do that anymore, they told us. So you know what they told us next? Just pull the plug and drain it on the way back. Or go up behind the church next door to our property and drain it there. if you can believe that.
So you're talking about a hospital draining leachate into the ground on top of the soil.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, I remember these stories from the 1980s, and at the time I had some rental units. I bought some single family houses and row homes and such, and I remember interviewing a prospective tenant, and I said, "So what do you do?" He said, "Well, I work for DuPont." I said, "Okay, what do you do there?" He goes, "I work the night shift." I said, "Okay, so what do you do on the night shift?" He said, "Well, I work the incinerator." I said, "Well, tell me about it." He said, "Well, we burn stuff at night that we can't burn during the day because people will smell the smell and they'll know what we're doing, so we have to do it, late at night."
Yep.
That's the kind of thing you're talking about.
Yep. Exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about.
There you go. Greg, thanks so much for your call.
Oh, hey, can I say something? Can I ask you something,
Sure.
Vincent?
Sure.
I, too, have tooling out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with the swastika on it. Like I understand you have tooling as such. And I wanted to ask you one more thing about Doc Ram said when you sign your name, you put a box around it. Could you tell me why you do that?
Well, it's known as the Four Corners Rule. And allegedly, and I'm not 100% sure if this is absolutely true or not, but what you agree to is what's in the box. And if you look at a lot of forms, you'll see this pretty box. Let's say it's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. That's a form, and it's called a standard form. Well, this is, just sign this because this is a standard form. Well, you might see 3/8 of an inch around the perimeter on all sides, a line, and drawing a box around the text, the verbiage inside that lined-in area. So what you're agreeing to is what's within that box, which is all the text, right, of that form.
Right.
So what I try to do is I try to find a spot where I can draw a box where I might sign my name. So I agree to everything within the box where I sign my name, which only includes my name.
You're a smart man.
So my autograph is only the only thing within that box.
And is that inside their box or outside their box?
Well, a lot of times it's inside their box, but if I can find a spot outside their box, I'll draw a box outside their box and put my autograph there.
Okay.
And I remember my mom was abused in a hospital, and I'm not saying sexually abused. She was neglected at Merciless Hospital in Springfield, Missouri. And they said, "Here are the discharge papers, and would you please sign so your mom can be discharged?" And I was working on it, and then another nurse came by, and then another manager came by, and I was like, "Well, it's taking him a long time to sign his name." And so I had
think about anything.
Well, no, what I did was I read the entire document, and then what I did was I said, "No funds will be dispersed until I meet with the CEO of Mercy."
And have you had that meeting yet?
No.
Hey, you're never going to meet with that guy, in my opinion. I think you found a way
that
not
was,
to pay your bill.
and then I put my autograph in there, and that's all within the box. All that verbiage from me is in the box, and so we have a stalemate. And no funds have been dispersed, and we haven't met. And I agreed to that.
I don't call it merciless for nothing.
Oh, it's a horrible place.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
It's leadership to the treachery and deception of words.
That's exactly right. And if you look at the court system, you have a bunch of encoders and decoders. And the encoders are the lawmakers and the guys who write these rules. And then the decoders would be, the guys that you would hire to interpret what in the heck the rules really mean, because the words they use aren't necessarily the words that we use. Like, for example, one of our instructors, Lynette Marie, was arrested. And the judge said, "Do you understand me?" And she said, "No, I overstand you."
I like that. Well, can I tell you what I said last time I was in jury duty?
One last thing. So when we had meetups, you would meet the individuals that I'm talking about. These are just the coolest people on the planet. Of course, the meetups got blown up, so we don't have any more meetups anymore. But these were the most courageous, some of the most courageous people you'd ever want to meet. Get arrested, for many times, and just fight the system from within, without, and they just don't take it. But go ahead, please, Greg.
Well, the last time I was at jury duty, it was I think it was a meth case, and at the end, the judge asked if anybody had anything they'd like to say or ask, and I got up and I told the guy that, yeah, I don't believe in what you're doing in here, and I don't think it's right, and I think y'all out of control, and I think you're wasting my time and my money. And he just looked at me in silence.
Yeah, I've never been fortunate enough to serve on jury duty. Now, I've been called, and I've been interviewed, and I've been in the jury box, but I always get thrown out. Either attorney can dismiss a juror just for whatever reason they decide to dismiss one, and I always get dismissed. They ask me some questions, I tell them the truth, and the next thing I know, Vincent Finelli, you're dismissed. You can stay in the court and view the proceedings, or you can leave. You're free to leave.
I know.
They never let me on the jury.
They don't want your kind on there.
Well, I think they're afraid that I might convince the other jurors what's really happening, and they want me out of there. So I've never been.
I'm sorry.
I would love to have stayed. I mean, it was not for the $15. It was because I wanted to see how the system is broken. Anything else, Greg?
No, I think I've taken up enough of your time. It was good talking to you again.
Thanks. Have a great day.
I really appreciate what you guys do. Keep it up. Bye.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Shealy, I guess the next question is hormone replacement therapy. And I was reading a story or an article that says that people who take these hormone replacement therapies are 2.7 times more likely to develop breast cancer over 5 years as compared to those who do not take hormone replacement therapy. Any thoughts, Dr. Shealy, from what you've experienced, seen, heard, read, learned?
Hello?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here. Did you hear what I said?
No, it suddenly got very faint.
Okay. All right. Hormone replacement therapy.
Well, there's a place for it, Vince. Mainly, of course, my belief is that the most important thing is to stimulate the body to make its own.
Yes.
And that we can do exquisitely well most of the time in both men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't, the one replacement that helps immensely is natural progesterone.
Okay. And have you found any risks? Because what I was reading is some of the medications, I guess these might be synthetic meds. I'm actually not sure. There's a 2.7 times likelihood that a person might develop breast cancer as a result of hormone replacement therapy. Have you heard that?
Right. Yeah, no question.
Okay. So is there a difference between what you're talking about, progesterone, and some of these other meds? Are they different?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The pharmacomafia has been pushing for years artificial things. I mean, they started with horse estrogen. Premarin, one of the first replacement hormones, was made for horses. And I said forever that unless you weigh 800 pounds or more, you shouldn't have Premarin. And then, of course, they made artificial progesterone called Progest-10. They're absolutely horrible. They have many, many, many negative effects. Now, true natural, that is, it looks just like human natural progesterone cream, seems to be reasonably safe for men and women.
Okay.
Exercise and deep breathing gets oxygen into the blood but does not guarantee you get oxygen into your 372 trillion cells. Largely, the essential fatty acids, alpha-linolenic and linoleic acids, control oxygen transfer from the blood to the cells. These essential fatty acids are called essential because they must be obtained from the diet on a regular basis. Many people are aware of the value of supplementing with flax or hemp seed oil. What most people don't know is that due to current methods of pressing, all these oils are significantly damaged and oxidized by the time you consume them. What everyone needs to know is that there are new seed oils on the market that are pressed in a manner that protects the oils from damage and oxidation. Even athletes get cancer, which means that despite their abundant oxygen uptake into the blood, the transfer of oxygen into the cells is not occurring. I invite you to try the Andreas seed oils and see for yourself what a difference you can feel in energy, reduction of appetite, and well-being. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. fullycookedbacon.com.
Dr. Shealy's with us, Dr. Norman Shealy, and if you'd like to go to his website, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. ShealyLY.com. And you can get lots of free medical advice just by perusing the website, normshealy.com. Dr. Shealy, I'm looking at a story, and this isn't specifically a medical question, but it's something I think we all need to know about, and that's why I'd like to bring it up now. There's, we don't normally talk about race on this broadcast, but I think we're going to start doing that. So here it goes. And I'm reading this from the dailymail.co.uk. There's a story that says, Black man, 48, is shot in his home by a veteran Indianapolis cop after he called the police for help with a robbery. So according to this post, Carl Williams was shot after he called the police to catch a robber. And he called the police after his wife was robbed by a man with a long gun. So there was a man allegedly with a long gun, and Carl Williams called the cops because his wife was attempted to be robbed by this man. And so when Carl Williams exited his garage, the cops shot the victim. The cops shot the man who called 911. They shot him in the stomach, and here's the whole point of that. First of all, never call 911 because someone's going to get shot or someone's going to jail. That's my thoughts. The guy who was the alleged robber is still on the run. So the victim's husband, who called 911, was shot. Now, here's what, if you mistakenly call 911 for help and you are the victim, here's what you absolutely positively need to do. You need to say, I am the victim. I'm wearing a red shirt. Do not shoot me. I am the victim. Because what happens when the cops come, they come with guns drawn. And they like to shoot people. That's one story. Here's another story. A trooper shot dead, and this is at dailymail.co.uk as well. A trooper shot dead an unarmed deaf father. What happened? Well, the trooper was pulling over this deaf man. He's 29 years old. The deaf man was 29 years old for an alleged speeding violation on Interstate 485. And it says that the alleged speeder led the officer on a brief chase. Now, what does that mean? So a guy is deaf, and the lights and sirens come on. If he's deaf, he might not have heard depending on how deaf he was, he might not have heard the sirens, might not have seen the lights, might have done what I do and driven to a safe place. So in the police report, I guess they call that a brief chase. Now, it could, the image we might have is this guy's weaving through traffic and speeding and cutting people off and jumping the sidewalk or whatever a police chase conjures up in your mind. I have a feeling that's not the case. I have a feeling that what happened was he ultimately learned that he was being pulled over. He pulls over and gets out of his car. So the man who was operating the vehicle, this 29-year-old man, gets out of his vehicle, does not speak. He's speech impaired. He's hearing impaired. He's deaf. And he walks toward the cop, and the cop shoots him. Unarmed. This man's unarmed. This has got to stop. And I don't think it's going to stop until we start suing the individuals who are killing us. Bring them to court, bring them to justice, and make them pay for their crimes of murder. Dr. Shealy, would you say that when a police officer has 5 seconds to decide whether he's going to discharge his weapon on an unarmed person, is that murder or is that an accident? What do you think?
Well, it's at least homicide.
Homicide. There you go. Homicide.
I think there is a legal difference between the two terms, but I'm not quite sure what it means.
Okay. We come back and we talk about sleep and resetting the brain. And there's a teacher who wants to eliminate homework in Godley, Texas, Godley, Texas. so that the students can spend more time with their family. What are your thoughts on no homework for high school students?
Class,
we'll be right back.
I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brendan Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com with Dr. Norman Shealy. So every Wednesday for 2 hours, you have access to Dr. Norman Shealy right here. And if you'd like to call and ask him your medical questions, 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Wow, feels like homecoming. Tim in West Virginia, welcome.
Hey, stranger, how you been?
It's great to hear your voice. That's why I said it feels like homecoming.
Yeah, well, I hate to admit this, but I'm like obsessed with your show, especially on Dr. Shealy Day in the winter, and I probably don't miss it once a week all winter, but this 30 acres here, I don't own it. It owns me, so I've missed a lot of shows since the weather turned nice.
Hey, I've got to ask you a question. Now, you live in West Virginia. How much of that 30 acres? How much of that 30 acres is vertical?
Well, I actually bought a very nice piece of land. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about selling out a 2-story home. I want to get rid of my steps and build on the back 40. And my powerman actually said, boy, this land lays nice, but I own to the top of the ridge. And in West Virginia, you have what locals call flat irons. You might call them benches. But I have a very nice piece of property with a gas well on it. I've got about a half-acre pond, and I've got about 7 benches between my house down near the road and to the top of my ridge. There's like 5 beautiful houses on this property, so I'm a very lucky man. A lot of my friends do own billy goat country that's vertical.
The reason I ask is Mrs. Finelli and the family and I had a place in West Virginia. It was 33 acres with a cabin on top. We sold it. But it was so hard to get to climb that driveway. It took 2 people, one looking out the left side, one looking out the right, so that we wouldn't just slide down the driveway off the edge.
Yeah, I think you told me about that, but I can't recall where it was. Weren't you over in the Eastern Panhandle area?
It was Monroe County. And it was so difficult to get to this place that the power company would walk up the driveway only once a quarter. So 4 times a year they would read the meter. They wouldn't even the power company wouldn't come up there. But go ahead, Tim. You must have some questions for Dr. Shealy.
Well, Well, first of all, I want to tell you I'm blessed, and I'm looking at my nice little bottle with the purple top, and I love that stuff. And I still think we need to put Stat Miller in a 55-gallon drum of it. I know you're on terms, but that was the day we met. I said that.
Well, he's in. You know, this broadcast is rebroadcast the following day on Republic Broadcasting, and John Statmiller, who owns Republic So if you want to hear what you just said, you can tune in to 7 o'clock tomorrow on Republic Broadcasting, and you'll hear what you just said. By the way, this doesn't happen. You really don't hear guys from ABC on NBC or CBS on Fox. You just don't hear it. However, John Statmiller and I are friends, and he picks up this broadcast complete, all the commercials, everything. Complete, and rebroadcast it on Republic Broadcasting the following day. And I think he's going to get to experience some bliss when he comes here to the farm, because he told me he's going to come visit me, spend a few days here and broadcast from the farm. He's a good guy. So, yeah, please continue, Tim.
Just a brief aside on John. I really feel for John because I patronize Republic Radio, and I know he struggles financially all the time. And just for the life of me, I can't figure out why people don't support that network more. I wish they would, because I'm afraid it's going to go away. Times are tough, and John I know the man lives hand to mouth, and I do feel deeply for him. And that's just a brief aside on that. My questions for Dr. Shealy were 2 or 3 of them. I use the Air Bliss like Vin does, and it seems to be to great satisfaction, maybe because I'm too lazy to learn all the points and do them. But I was wanting to make sure that when you use it between your thumb and your forefinger, I do a lot of farm work, and I'm not a lazy man, and I've got like a little muscle there that stands up like a little mountain. Is that the proper place? Is that the point between my thumb and forefinger on that little, it's kind of like a knot, it's a muscle. Yep. Is that where Vin puts it?
That is the point called Hoku, Hoku, which is large intestine 4, yes. It is the strongest acupuncture point in the human body.
Yeah, I'm lucky like Vin, so I'm sorry, Doc, you're not going to make as much off of me as some people. It's going to last me longer, but I love it. I love the stuff. Also, I've been using magnesium lotion of yours for over a year, and I had a couple questions way back when I learned about it. You said you put it on your fanny, and you said it's basically best to use it where there's not hair. Is there a medical reason for that, or is that because it gets all grainy and mucked up in your hair? Is that why that suggestion's made?
You've got it. It's exactly that. The hair, in other words, prevents it from getting to the skin.
Okay, because on me, my fanny seems to have that problem. One of the few places it's all falling out of my head. But I do have, like, down from my lower knee, but on my shin bones, I've worn tomb socks a lot in the winter all my life, and that hair has kind of disappeared because I'm kind of a hairy guy, but it'll be fine. I started putting it on the shins. I'm soaking it up there properly, correct?
That is perfect.
Yeah, and then my wife doesn't say, why is your underwear full of all these little grains of white sands? Now it's just the tube socks.
Right.
And I do take vitamin C. You recommended MSM makes it more potent or more absorbent in your body. Is that correct? Because I'm taking MSM.
Correct. That's what I put into my youth formula.
Okay.
And when you combine the two, it helps raise your DHEA. Neither one of them alone will.
Right. That's what I thought you said. Now, I bought them individually, but I will investigate your youth formula for sure. And the other thing is I've been taking every Thursday my 50,000 units of D3, and I got to investigating that and found some literature and some white papers and stuff that said that it's a better product if you use your K2 with it, vitamin K2. I use the MK7 from GMO-free natto. But my question is, my mother is 80, turned 81 this coming April, and I convinced her to go on it after the stupid doctor put her on the synthetic stuff. I've got her taking the D3, but I didn't put her on the K2. Is D3 effective without the K2 Also,
well, yes, it's going to be effective, but it'll be more so if you use the K2.
Yeah, well, the white papers and stuff I read seem to mention that you might have more susceptibility to plaque in the capillaries and the veins and stuff, and the K2 kind of counteracted that. Were those on the right track? That's why I was concerned at her age that I might get her on the K2.
Yep, I like the K2 with it.
Right. So maybe I need to put her on it. It is so expensive, though. I swear I'm a tightwad, and I'm going to figure out how to make natto. I hope I like the flavor of it. I'm just going to eat buku natto instead of paying these enormous prices for K2. You can't find it cheap.
Yep, you got it.
And
Tim,
Ben, I was curious if you'd fill me in on a couple things. Thank you, Dr. Shealy, very much. You've educated me and hopefully some people in the audience. And people, if you aren't use it. You'll feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely true.
Ben, I was wondering about your, I caught a show a month or two ago and you told somebody you had glue on your gut, and I tried to figure it out. I found out you had chemtrail cough, which we get here too, and blowed your belly out with that stuff. Are you all right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm getting pretty close to being 100%. I was on the tractor with a batwing mower for hours a couple days ago before it started raining, and I was able to bounce around and hang on to the tractor and mow some of our fields. So yeah, I'm getting back. I would say I'm getting close to 90%. And the thing about this chemtrail flu is I am 100% convinced that it causes this cough. And it's, if you've seen the bits on Hillary Clinton coughing uncontrollably while she's on stage, that's it. It's this cough, and you can't stop it. Ultimately, I was on an antibiotic that did stop it. I ended up with pneumonia. I coughed my intestines out, and I was put back together. And they literally, during surgery, they literally super glued me back together after, to hold the incision. And that's the way it's done today rather than use stitches. Now, if I had a choice, I would have preferred something else. I would have preferred to be stitched together rather than super glued together.
Yeah.
And the reason is when they super glue you together, at least with me, they took part of my stomach and they overlapped it. And then they super glued it together. I would have much rather had it butt connected together and then stitched.
Yeah, I think the scar tissue will be weirder with that super glue method than if you had a butt connection. I think it would be a nicer regrowth in that area. But I was really concerned about you because I emailed you a couple times, and you've always been so punctual. You got back to me almost the same day, and you didn't answer either of those emails. And I think it was in that period you were struggling with all this, probably.
Yeah, it's much, well, you know what I would do, literally, is I would do the broadcast, and then I would go and collapse. And there were some times when I flat out couldn't do the broadcast, and I asked Captain John Regan and a couple other guys to fill in for me. But literally, I would be coughing and using the mute button so that it wouldn't be too obvious what was happening. But there were some pauses in there that, for those who tune in a lot can tell, my attitude from my inflection and intonations. I could tell that there were some pauses and something wasn't quite right. As a matter of fact, and I'm glad you mentioned this because I need to apologize to those who call. I don't have the opportunity right now I'm doing catch up, and I don't get a chance to do the reading of the emails as I probably would like to, and I'm not as available for the phone calls as I would like to be, and that may change in the future. But right now, I'm playing catch up for being down for close to a quarter of a year. Did you want to hold to it?
May I hold over for one more comment?
Sure. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system,
In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Can your vitamin supplements positively affect your blood in 5 minutes? Protovite can. Protovite is a genuine breakthrough liquid daily nutrition that delivers quality ingredients into your blood in less than 5 minutes. Scientifically proven and backed by clinical studies, Protovite supports energy, vitality, and optimal health. Watch our 2-minute live blood cell video and see for yourself at vninc.com/prohealth. That's vninc.com/prohealth.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's FIVE starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
That's Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. Tim from West Virginia is here. It's always great to hear Tim's voice. Tim, just to give you a little bit more information, it was Monroe County, West Virginia, where we had this 33-acre retreat that was going to be our retirement home. And to go from the low area to climb this mountain to get to where the cabin was, the road was only paved in the center. So there was one car width of road, very, very narrow, one car width, and then either side was the shoulder. So when you traveled on this road, you had the two left wheels on the pavement and the two right wheels, front and back, on gravel. Have you experienced that where you are?
Oh, I'm surprised you had the strip of pavement. This state has so many roads. I mean, I think it's one of the top states in miles of road in America, but most of them don't have pavement at all. You were lucky.
Well, I'll tell you what. It was a white knuckle ride up and down the mountain till we got to our driveway, which was it's beyond a white knuckle ride, literally.
Yeah,
15-minute.
You know what I call that?
To get up our driveway. What's that?
You know what I call that? And I won't elaborate too much or you'll have somebody put the mute button on me, but I call it a spatula ride. because if you're on a vinyl seat, it takes a spatula to remove you from it until you get there.
Yeah. Tim, you had another question?
Yeah, just one other. I know I'm dominating your show and you have that other subject to get into, but I was curious. I haven't listened enough to know why the meetup blew. You said it blew up earlier, and I was just curious what the story Crib Notes was on that.
Well, I'm going to ask Dr. Shealy if it's okay with him for me to say. Is it okay with you, Dr. Shealy?
Well, what I would call a flaming fundamentalist who have no fun whatsoever took over.
Well, that no more needs to be said, Doc Shealy, and I don't have any use for that type. Thank you very much.
I consider them almost as bad as Islam.
Well, and they have a tendency to be like those darn reformed smokers, guys that smoke 40 years, quit, and then just throw it in everybody's face. You can't escape it. They don't want to talk about any other subject. It's ridiculous.
Right. You got it.
Yeah.
Tim, what happened was I was unable to attend all the meetups, so I turned him over to another guy who was one of our instructors at the time, no longer is.
Right.
And so Dr. Shealy one day on the air asked me if he could bring one of his friends, a healer, to the meetup group, and I said on the air that, well, I'm not there. I won't be there for the meetup, but I think I can make that happen. So Dr. Shealy and his healer friend were there. Dr. Shealy brought his EKG machine, and they were going to do some scientific research with some volunteers from the meetup group who have been there. Some of them have been there 5 years or close to 5 years. And after the meetup, I'm sorry, not during the meetup, but after Dr. Shealy and his spiritual healer friend left, they took a vote to ban Dr. Shealy from the meetup. And when I heard about this, I blew a gasket. I said, who do these people think they are? Dr. Shealy, I guess a term for his relationship to USA Prepares, not our personal relationship, but to USA Prepares, would be he's a member of the senior council. And for the meetup group to vote to ban Dr. Shealy for doing medical research right there at the meetup was beyond the pale. And it made me so angry that I won't, they wanted to know if they could continue using the name USA Prepares for the meetup. And I said, absolutely not. No way. I pulled out, I let them borrow my PA equipment and all that stuff, my, speakers and microphones and all that stuff. No, they can't use anything. I want nothing to do with them. And here's why. There were only 3 people of the entire meetup group. There were only 3 people who said, no, what, have you lost your mind? You want to ban Dr. Shealy? He's been here for years and years and years. He's been dispensing medical advice. And, we asked Dr. Shealy, I've got this pain in my ankle. I've got this high blood pressure. I've got diabetes. I've got all these maladies. What do I do, Dr. Shealy? And Dr. Shealy gives him free medical advice, and he conducts trials right there to help people. And he pays for it all, and they ban him? Who do they think they are?
Two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner.
Well, here's the problem. Where are the people who I thought were independent thinkers who would say, have you lost your mind? This is crazy.
Yes. You would think the majority of the crowd would defend him. If I'd have been there, I'd have been going ballistic in your steed.
There you go. Hey, Tim, thanks so much for the call. We'll be right back.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who suffer from digestive issues like heartburn, acid reflux, IBS, and constipation? Probimune is your answer. Probimune is a brand new probiotic that has been scientifically proven to deliver high quantities of viable good bacteria to your gut to boost your digestive system and improve your overall health. This unique, powerful blend of probiotic strains, coupled with our industry-leading proprietary fermentation process, delivers a maximized bacterial colonization to the gut that no other probiotic can match. Start improving your health today. Visit younghealth.com or call 800-396-9024. Use coupon code DIGEST to receive 15% off first-time orders. Maintaining digestive health is crucial to the body's overall well-being. Don't suffer from negative effects of poor digestion any longer. Order today. younghealth.com or call 800-396-9024.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851.
Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, normshealy.com, if you'd like to sign up for the same newsletter that I get multiple times per week, absolutely free, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. Dr. Shealy, there's a teacher in Godley, Texas, Godley, Texas, and I was reading this post about how this teacher decided to stop homework for the rest of the year so that the students could enjoy time with the family. Now, I have no problem with that. I think that's a wonderful thing to do, spend time with the family, because that's what we do here at the farm. We eat as a family. And the article goes on to say that there's no research that proves that homework improves performance. No research proving homework improves performance. However, I disagree. I think homework does improve performance. Do you have any thoughts on that, Dr. Shealy?
Well, there are people who make claims about any kind of stuff. I'd certainly like to see whatever research they are not finding, because homework is essential. Now, I don't think it should be such that people can't have, a couple of hours with their family in the evening, but still, homework is crucial. And I think that teacher should have her ass beaten and kicked out. But that's just my opinion.
Well, and so there was this survey of people saying, what do you think about this homework? Yes or no? And 53% agree with you and me that homework improves performance. 47% say that children work hard enough in school. 47% say they work hard enough in school. That's absolute nonsense. If you go to
I suspect they're on the welfare rolls. Anything
if you go to a school,
is work,
Yeah. If you go to a school and you watch, you'll see a lot of idle time. You'll see in the elementary schools, you will see children before school having breakfast. Why? Because they don't get breakfast at home. So now the schools provide breakfast at the taxpayers' expense for the students who don't have breakfast at school at home. And then you'll find out that they have bathroom breaks, but they can't let the whole class go to the bathroom at the same time, because they can only let 2 people in the bathroom at a time, because otherwise fights will break out. So they can't do that. So taking a bathroom break is a half-hour operation in a school system, in an elementary school system. I've seen this. And I remember asking our children, so what'd you learn today? Nothing. Really? You didn't learn anything? No. Well, what happened? So we sat down and we talked about, okay, so you get up in the morning and you have breakfast and you wait for the bus and you get to school, and then you wait for the other children to arrive, and then some have breakfast and you're still waiting and you haven't done anything yet, and it's getting close to 9:00. And then with all the breaks, and then there's the lunch, and then there's the recess, and then there's phys ed. By the time you're done, you get maybe 2 hours worth of education out of a full day of school. I'm talking about elementary school. And then all during that education, the teachers are using words that I don't use, like shut up, sit down, be quiet, or I'm going to send you to the principal's office. So the students are being threatened. And how is this a good learning environment? Then if you have a student who excels, that student is told, well, okay, so you finished early. Let's see, you got half of the class period left. Do it again. And the student does it again. Let's say it's a reading assignment and the student reads it and is done early. Well, then, okay, read it again. Oh, I'm done now. I'll read it for the 3rd time. And that's what goes on in public schools. So I think it's incumbent upon
article on research improving skills.
Okay. Well, I know that the more times, for me, absolute certainty, the more times I run whatever it is I'm trying to learn through my brain, the better I understand it, the more I can comprehend it. And I get to a certain point where I go, okay, I think I got it. I don't need to do it again. But that's what homework is about. Homework is prepping for tomorrow or rehearsing what we learned today. But it brings more information. And I even assign homework here on our radio broadcast. I don't do it all the time, but I think, because I don't want to overwhelm our broadcast classroom students with homework, but if I think it's germane and important, I will assign homework. And it's up to the students who are in class to decide whether they want to accept that homework assignment or not. And I don't check up on it. I mean, how could I? Dr. Shealy, so we agree that homework is something that helps with our performance. Okay. Now, how about the most productive time of day to be creative? And I'm hearing and reading that 4 to 6 a.m. are the local time hours where we are the most productive. And I think about that, and I think about Ben Franklin, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So is there some truth to this? The early hours are when we're most productive?
Well, everybody's different. To some extent, the big difference is between morning people and evening people. Now, unfortunately, in society, evening people have problems coping because they like to stay up till 12 o'clock or later, and of course they want to sleep in the morning. But people who are truly evening people are most productive after 8 or 9 o'clock at night. People who are morning people like me are most productive in the first 5 or 6 hours of the day.
Okay. So when I wake up, before I go to bed, I will do some prep for the broadcast. And the reason for doing that is I don't want to be concerned while I'm sleeping, thinking, "Oh, I'm not ready. I don't want to do that all night long." So I will do some broadcast prep for tomorrow's broadcast the night before, or even several days before, and I'll keep a notebook of things that I want to talk about and subject matter and so forth. And then the morning of, way before the broadcast starts, I will finish that and check with the latest news updates to see if there's anything else I'd like to talk about. So that's what I do, but I feel I'm more productive in the morning. That's just.
But you're a morning person.
Yeah, well, and I think farmers are, we have to.
Your farm would go to pot quickly if you didn't get chores done in the morning.
That's exactly right. And, I get frustrated at the weather, by the way. I want to cut hay. I want to cut hay today, but the ground's wet. And it's going to be nice today. It's going to be breezy, which is great for curing hay and drying out the hay. And tomorrow it's going to be nice, and then it's going to rain. So, I need 3 days in a row, not 2. I need 3 days in a row to cut it and rake and bale hay. And it's hard to get 3 days in a row. Dr. Shealy, sleep resetting the brain's connection. Can you tell us about how important sleep is for resetting those connections? Because some people fall asleep or think they're asleep with the television, in the background, right in front of them, the blue screen.
There were studies done 30 plus years ago that showed that even the least bit of sound and light interferes with sleep. Studies done on people whose homes are near airports show that every time an airplane flew over, their sleep was interrupted. And so sleep in a quiet and dark place is one of the most critical things for optimal health. People who don't get adequate sleep have more high blood pressure, more cancer, more heart disease. They die younger. They don't perform as well, and on it goes. A minimum of 7 hours of sleep a night is essential for health.
Speaking of health, there are a number of posts on the internet about Hillary and her lack of good health. And I'm looking at the Drudge Report right now, the single page of the Drudge Report. There's an image of Hillary, and she is sort of sitting, sort of leaning on this stool with a back. And there are a lot of people in the media saying that she's not well. She really is not well. She has problems with her vision. She needs to be supported with pillows behind her when she's being interviewed, on camera. And I can tell you, Dr. Shealy, I don't see you sitting with pillows. I've never seen you sitting with a pillow behind your back. I'm sitting in a swivel chair right now in my studio, and I am leaning forward. My back is not even touching the back of the chair. I'm not using any support at all. I'm leaning forward into the microphone. That's what I do for 2 hours, 5 days a week. But she has to do this. Can you, as a medical doctor, through the images that you've seen on the internet and so forth, can you tell about her health from that or not?
The interesting thing is, Vince, that I probably could. I don't watch television, so I haven't seen it. I've seen a few, briefly, some of the videotapes that are available, and she looks pretty, she looks 10 years or more older than she is. That's the number one thing I would say. I think the woman is sick physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but that's my opinion.
That's mine. That's my opinion as well. Okay, so Dr. Shealy, I remember when I had a job, that was a long time ago, that was back in the 1980s, last time I really had a job. And, when you start out, working in one of those computer cubicles, first of all, you don't get a cubicle, you get like a desk, and then you can graduate or get promoted to a cubicle, with short walls, and then a cubicle with a little bit higher walls, and then ultimately you might have an office, and then ultimately, the corner office where you have actual sunlight. And my question is, sunlight and those of us who are working in these areas that don't get much sunlight at our place of employment, because there are plenty of places where there's no windows at all for the worker bees of the world, especially in the United States. Dr. Shealy, are we damaging our health by not getting enough sunlight because of our jobs?
I totally agree that I say we live in modern caves, and it is unhealthy. I mean, I really thrive on being outside. I think an hour a day outside, whether or not you have various and sundry clothes on, is the most critical thing, one of the most critical for good health.
There you go. We'll be right back.
Today, I became a biophoton woman. I put a tablespoon of the Andreas 5-seed oil in my morning's One World Way drink and was still happy and energized at 3 p.m. Normally, I feel tired and spacey at the end of the day, but today I felt energy and very clear. My friend at the farmer's market asked what I was on. She said my eyes looked bright and I had unusual energy for that time of afternoon. I told her there was a magical oil that enables my body to absorb the sun's energy as if I were a plant. She said, I want some. A second One World Way shake with the oil when I got home took me to bedtime with that wonderful, abundant energy. I couldn't believe how much I got done and how great I felt. The combination of One World Way and 5-seed oil produced a significant health event in my life, the kind that makes you feel you've been given your life back with a bonus, and I'm 64.
5-seed oil in One World Way for your fantastic health. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com.
You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507.
This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-725-2487. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-725-2487. 1-800-725-2487.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
Class, Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. Dr. Shealy, we've got Mike in Tennessee on hold. Very quickly, supplements on an empty stomach, good or not?
I'm sorry, which one?
Supplements on an empty stomach versus with meals. Which do you...
Well, I take 90% of what I take on a relatively empty stomach, but it's not empty in the sense that I take it with a slush. In other words, I take it with let's say 6 ounces of fruit juice, and all kinds of things like whey protein powder. So I guess you'd say I take mine with food.
Okay. Next thing, colloidal silver. I have been taking about a half a teaspoon to a full teaspoon of colloidal silver per day orally. Is that something that you recommend or not recommend?
I have mixed feelings about that because if you don't have any symptoms, I'm not sure it's beneficial to take it orally.
Okay. Can we do a special broadcast on that maybe next week?
Of course.
Okay. All right. And the last question, rice versus wheat. If I know that you have concerns about wheat. Do you have any concerns about rice?
Well, I think white rice is junk.
Right. Right.
White rice is no better than sugar.
Right. How about brown rice or wild rice?
Yeah, brown or rye rice is really a grass, but both of them are healthy.
Okay. Last thing, class, Baltimore is under surveillance. There's a secret program with an airplane, a Cessna, flying over Baltimore, recording, tracking movements with multiple cameras. And I'll post that on the internet. USA Prepares. Right after the broadcast. Mike in Tennessee, welcome. I'm so glad you're on the air with us.
Quick question, Dr. Shealy. Look at the neighbors to the north in Canada. They have a free healthcare system, but for that free healthcare system, they're stuck with whatever they get. When they walk in the door, they have no control over what they get, and when they walk in the door, their identity is put into a system, a national database, and if they're trying to stay off the radar, they're nabbed right then and there, instantly. In this country, I see that that's fixing to take place. I can't verify this, but I know there are people within the system that know that when an individual goes into a hospital seeking care, if that person, regardless of the circumstances, are being pursued, are they going to be put into a system database and turned over to the Gestapo? Or
almost certainly. Look, Obamacare is the craziest, worst thing our government has ever done to the people as a whole.
They've turned the medical system in Canada into the matrix nest of spiders ready to collect you. And the problem is that the rank-and-file Canadian that I'm hearing about, they would as soon turn in their neighbor because they love the system. They love being well-kept slaves. And I see this country going the same route. So people that are wanting to be, out of the system, off the grid, and non-compliant with the corporate system, is there a place they can go to? I know they're doing natural remedies, but when they need acute observation and diagnosis, is there a place or an individual for that?
At the present time, it's only true holistic physicians, period.
So if you need MRIs and any of the equipment-operated types of analysis, you're just
That's the blank hospitals, yes.
Got it. Something to look forward to, everyone.
Welcome
and I think
to
it's
the
because
Gestapo.
I think it's because of the cost of entry. If you want to have these MRI machines and CAT scan machines, it's just unaffordable for a small practice to get that equipment.
It'd be nice if there was a cooperative out there that has an after-hours operation for we, the real human beings that aren't in the system.
There you go. No disagreement. Mike Parsons, USA Prepares Instructor. Thanks for calling, Mike. We can talk after the broadcast. I missed your calls yesterday. Dr. Shealy, thank you so much for being with us. Any final words in 10 seconds or less?
Keep the faith, baby. We may still overcome Obama.
There you go. Dr. Norm Shealy, medical doctor, PhD ×3, author of over 30 books, broadcaster of several decades. Dr. Shealy will be back with us next Wednesday. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.